intelligence community inspector general, the person who received the whistleblower's complaint, testifying behind closed doors today. And sources are telling Fox tonight that the IG had no idea the whistleblower had had any contact with Adam Schiff's committee prior to filing the complaint. So just so we're clear here, the whistleblower, who was trying to do everything by the book, right, was simultaneously going behind the intelligence community's back to Adam Schiff's staff. We know that Adam Schiff lied when asked if he had had any contact with the whistleblower. In a media interview just days ago, he said, quote, "We have not." But it turns out we did. Somehow, the whistleblower, who's so concerned with following all these rules, doesn't disclose his or her contact with House Dems, and neither does Adam Schiff. Schiff's office confirmed this week that indeed, turns out, they were given a heads up on the filing. Meanwhile, the president today defending his call with the president of Ukraine, saying he was just doing what he promised American voters he would do, weed out corruption. Here he is.
What I saw Biden do with his son, he is pillaging these countries and he's hurting us. How would you like to have, as an example, Joe Biden negotiating the China deal if he took it over from me? He would give them everything. He would give them everything. How would you like to have that? Joe Biden would just roll out the red carpet. He'd give them everything. This doesn't pertain to anything but corruption. And that has to do with me. I don't care about politics. I don't care about anything. But I do care about corruption.
Joining me right now is Republican Tennessee Congressman and House Oversight Committee member Mark Green. Congressman, welcome to the show.
Hey, Trish, thanks for having me on.
So did the president have the right to ask Ukraine, in your view, for assistance in terms of determining what happened in 2016 and also for assistance with Biden in terms of that whole investigation? Though I will remind people, by the way, it was the Ukrainian president who brought up Biden per the transcript. Nonetheless,
Sure.
Was this okay? Was this appropriate in your book?
Absolutely. I mean, you look at wherever Joe Biden went, his son followed and got millions of dollars. And in the case of China, it was $1 billion. Absolutely, the president's justified in asking people to look into this. It smells of corruption. And the whole accusation about, allegedly taking a $3 million payment from this company and then routing it through Latvia and Cyprus. If you're routing money through two different countries, you've either done something illegal or you're trying to evade taxes. I mean, this stinks to high heaven. The president is absolutely spot on asking that this be done. It's his right, it's his job, it's his duty.
We also know that the Attorney General, of course, has an investigation going in terms of what actually went down in 2016. And in doing so, had asked the president for some assistance, making sure that some of these countries helped along the way. So knowing that, knowing also that Secretary Pompeo was on that call, does that make it sort of more, within the guidelines at all? Because, there are a lot of people that look at that and say, oh, they kind of wince and they wish that maybe he hadn't asked that. They wish that he hadn't said, can you do me a favor? But nonetheless, if there is an investigation going on, it may not, be exactly what the mainstream media once said, but is it still within sort of his jurisdiction, if you would?
I think the most important thing is it's not a crime, right? He did nothing wrong. He did nothing illegal. And what he did was try to get to some truth. The truth about political corruption in the Ukraine, truth about the vice president who admitted, Volkert the other day said there was no quid pro quo. But quid pro Joe, he clearly, did a quid pro quo. I mean, he bribed the Ukrainian government to stop investigating his son. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's corruption. The president is spot on digging into this. And
there's some irony there, right? Because don't forget, they were going after the prosecutor because the prosecutor was corrupt. But when you look at the rather glaring conflict of interest of getting the $50,000 a month for your son, all while you're simultaneously, pulling some strings for Ukraine, it seems like corruption maybe wasn't done and over there in Ukraine. Yeah. Let me ask you about what he's saying with China, right? Because he's calling on the Chinese now to do something, to look into this themselves, and he says he's doing this for the American people. Is that okay? Is that all right in this environment? Don't forget, by the way, didn't he do that on the campaign trail with Russia and Hillary? He sort of jokingly said, hey, Russia, go find the emails.
Yeah. I think that was tongue-in-cheek. I think his comment about Hillary Clinton was tongue-in-cheek. With China, I think we ought to look into this. I mean, Joe Biden and his son make a trip together. I think they were even on the same plane, and then his son comes back with $1 billion contract. I mean, that sounds bad. I mean, that sounds like, manipulation. It sounds like selling of, our government. I mean, it just looks really bad, and we need to get to the bottom of it. The truth needs to come out.
Yeah. Slowly but surely, maybe some of it will. I guess I would just ask you, Representative, do you see this backfiring on the Democrats? Because, they're really hopeful that they can drive this president out of office. If they can't drive him out, via the Senate, and I don't think they're ever going to get the votes there, they're hoping that this is going to affect 2020. Does it affect 2020, but does it affect them negatively as opposed to positively?
I think it does. I think it does. I mean, it's clear that Adam Schiff is a liar. I mean, you can't tamper with a witness before, lie about it, and then still be the chairman of the House Intel Committee. I think even the Washington
Post would agree with you on that. And the Washington Post probably doesn't agree with you on a whole bunch. But tonight they've come out with, look at this, 4 Pinocchios there for Schiff. I mean, my goodness, the guy said on national television, we have had no contact with the whistleblower. And then, like a day later, 2 days later, his office has to say, oh yeah, turns out we did have contact with the whistleblower. I mean, come on.
Remember, this is the same guy, though, that said he visibly saw evidence of Russian collusion with the president. What did he do? Hide that from Bob Mueller? No, he lied. He is a liar. He needs to be gone, and that's why I signed on to the bill censoring him. But Nancy Pelosi needs to remove him if she wants to have any integrity at all, which the whole thing is a farce.
Listen, if she wants to have any integrity, I'll tell you exactly what she should do. She should take a darn vote.
Stop. Yeah, that's exactly right. Actually, that's what the voice of the American people would be, right? She has commandeered the House. You can't get one law created by one person. The House works as a body. That's the way the government was set up. We vote, we represent the will of the people. We haven't had a say in this. We've had one person out of the House commandeer the whole House and leverage the House, the legislative branch, against this president. It's unconscionable. It's unheard of. It's unprecedented in American history. This is crazy. And now they're attacking the vice president. So they're going to take out the president and the vice president?
Well, they'll take out Joe Biden along the way,
That leaves the Speaker of the House. This could be a coup. I mean, it's crazy.
Wow. It's crazy stuff indeed.
It's
Congressman
crazy.
Green, let's keep talking. Thank you so much.